It sounds like Ken Holland is ramping up trade talks for the Edmonton Oilers just days before the trade deadline, with two notable names popping up early this week. Now, if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe and follow along for all Oilers news leading up to the trade deadline. Now, looking at their first option is the goalie situation. The goalie situation in Edmonton has been questioned over recent months, but that conversation is over. Oilers GM Ken Holland saying so in a recent Q&A with the Athletics' Daniel Nugent-Bowman, that the club is satisfied with the goalies that they have in Alberta's capital. And if you look at the numbers, Stuart Skinner, he's been lights out this season. Obviously, there was a lot of questions at the beginning because he wasn't getting those wins, but he has 28 wins in 43 starts and 44 games played, 2 shutouts with a .264 goals against average and a .905 save percentage, which is pretty darn good for a guy that was asked, he was a Calder Trophy finalist, and he was asked to come in and basically save this team from Jack Campbell's horrendous start. Now, obviously it happens, goalies are inconsistent, but the other surprise in oil country is the emergence of Calvin Pickard. The guy is, he's been consistent, 8 wins in 12 games with 1 shutout. He's got a .240 goals against average and a .909 save percentage. Like, there's not much more you could ask for from a backup goalie. And the other player that's actually turned it around in recent months has been Jack Campbell in the AHL. Yeah, he struggled at the beginning of the season, just like a lot of players did. But since the start of December, he's had a .920 save percentage, which is pretty darn good in the AHL considering the start that he had over the last 2 years. And obviously Olivier Rodrigue, a 4th goalie in oil country that is in the minors, but he's a bit younger. He's a young guy that can step in. Not as much experience, but with the numbers that he's posting as well, the Oilers were in a really good spot with goaltending. And not just that, Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman also mentioned that recently with the Oilers, they're not looking to upgrade between the pipes because realistically, their goalie situation is looking pretty good. So if that's the case, what kind of targets are the Oilers looking for then? Well, talks around the league have been have ramped up for a top 6 winger, but it doesn't sound like that is going to be the first thing that the Oilers are going to get done. It sounds like the first thing they are looking towards is the Anaheim Ducks and 2 more depth pieces. Now, Adam Henrique, I'm calling him a depth piece. He's not much of a depth piece. He's still a guy that can put up 40 or 50 points, and Sam Carrick is the other one that the Oilers that are interested in as well. And now these are in 32 thoughts by Elliot Friedman as well. If you look at the players' numbers and you look at the types of players they are, Adam Henrique, he's got almost 20 goals. He's got 25 assists. We're looking at 45 points here through 60 games, pretty close to it. He's a left-hand shot, which is whatever. He's 6 feet, 195 pounds, so he's not small by any margin, and he's still got that high level of skill, and he's experienced. 13 years pro. He's a center. He can play on the wing. I think he's played on the left wing most recently, but that's someone that he provides that skill on the top 6. The other player that the Oilers are looking at is Sam Carrick. Now, Sam Carrick is more of a 4th-line grinder. He's a veteran for sure that's been grinding it out both in the AHL and in the NHL, but he's a right-hand shot. He plays on your 4th line. He can penalty kill. He's a right-hand shot, and he's pretty darn good in the face-off circle. So it's hard to say why the Oilers don't want a player like that. The depth pieces are a lot more important than a top 6 winger. Now, if you want a top 6 winger, Jake Guentzel has still been in that conversation. The Pittsburgh Penguins. This was also noted in 32 Thoughts, thought number 12 by Elliot Friedman from Sportsnet, that the Oilers have kind of backed off of the Jake Guentzel train. They have been linked with them they have been linked to Jake Guentzel for the last month or so, but it seems like that ship is slowly sailing with Vegas, Florida, and Carolina as the front runners, and Vancouver and the Oilers trailing just behind long enough to make it interesting. Now, does it mean the Oilers aren't going to get someone like that? No, I'm not saying that. The Oilers potentially could get a top 6 winger, and for sure they're looking to upgrade. They're in win now though, but they need to upgrade. We got to call the cat black. Like, it is what it is. They got to upgrade. One other piece that they're looking for is Sean Walker. Like, they've been looking to defense. They've been looking to upgrade the defense. They're looking to upgrade in a top 6 spot. They're looking to upgrade in a depth forward. But Sean Walker isn't an upgrade, right? So they've been linked to him. Philadelphia Flyer defenseman has been pretty good numbers this season, but I just don't see it as a suitable option, and it doesn't sound like the Oilers are really leaning towards that. So if you're looking at these types of players, what kind of player are they looking at? Well, rumors are all pointing towards Henrique and Carrick over Gensel, a depth type piece that can really grind out or help grind out those wins, a guy that can sit in the press box for a long period of time, and if called upon, he can go in, and he's been a veteran for 10 years. Both those players have been pros for 9 and 13 years respectively. Jake Gensel, you got to make the money work. Ultimately, with money coming in, money's going to be going out. And if you don't make that work, it's not going to work to get a top 6 winger. So it might look like the Oilers are adding one of those depth pieces. Now, Sam Gagner, he's been put on waivers as of Monday morning. So once that clears, I think within 24 hours, the Oilers are going to be making a deal to, it's hard to say, but it's looking like it's going to be something from Anaheim. Now it's a speculation just based off of reports, but it looks like, those reports are pretty close to being done. A depth defenseman with some experience is probably something the Oilers are looking at more than trying to make the money work. Yeah, we've seen deals recently over the last couple of weeks of a third team tagging along for a 4th round pick to eat a little bit of cap. But if you can get to one place, do all your shopping there. For example, Anaheim, if you get an Adam Henrique and a Sam Carrick, you're getting all your stuff at one store. You don't have to go around and go to other places. It's a good thing. Yeah, Jake Gensel, it's manageable, but you got to get a third team involved. You got to get some money in, money out, saving money here. It's a lot harder. And yeah, you want a guy that's 50 points a season, top 6 winger, but is reasonably young. But ultimately, that's not what wins you the Stanley Cup. If you look at Las Vegas last year, their entire team had 5 points in the playoffs. Every player every forward have 5 points in the playoffs. They were a grinding team. Every player hit. Every player defended. Every player won faceoffs. If a winger went in, they won the faceoff. There's a reason why Vegas won the cup. And if the Oilers want to get to that place, they're going to need to get bigger, heavier, have way more depth than what they have now. Obviously, yes, you want to upgrade to high-level players. You want to get that experience as well. But sometimes you got to give and you got to take. The Oilers their backs against the cap. All right, ultimately, yeah, they want to make all these moves. They want to do 5 or 6 moves probably. Revamping that 4th line, it's got to be a top priority. You want a guy that's skilled that can play with Leon Draisaitl. But ultimately, if you're going to make the cap work, you could always move Ryan McLeod up to the second line and play with Draisaitl. There's no reason you can't do that. Jake Gensel might be a little better than Ryan McLeod, but that's not what wins you games ultimately. Ultimately, what wins you games is that depth, the forwards. They need to, get a little bit more experience in there. But honestly, that is just my opinion. And, I think it just makes the most sense for the team moving forward into the playoffs past the trade deadline. But if you think I'm out to lunch and there's someone you think that would make the Oilers a better team, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.